Film happens in areas where it's very inconvenient to shoot. You don't want to take actors up there, and it's not called a death zone for nothing once you get above a certain height. So we needed to figure out what was the best way to do it justice in Pinewood Studios.
The top of it is what we're dealing with. The upper 3,000 feet is mostly what we deal with on the Bond stage. South Col, the climb up to the southeast ridge, the balcony, the south summit, the Hillary Stup, where it all fell apart for Doug and Rob, and then the summit.
Let's do it.
There's 1,000 photographs of it, so everybody knows what it is, so you can't fudge a location to make it work. We had to make a composite set that kind of worked for quite a few different sequences, whether it's a ridge or it's the summit or the Hillary Step.
Up to the platform here, suddenly you look up, that's the avalanche.
We've got storms, we've got snowfall, there's people falling. It's big emotional and dramatic acting sequences, so it needs you to be in a controlled environment.
Did you happen to catch the fact that he put pads on? I'll just have it be known, when I did my stunt on the ladder, there were no pads. I just kind of winged it.
For the summit, you've got to be so specific, you want so much control. The reality of when people go up Everest, they can only go at certain times of day. It's all about how the shadows fall on the mountain and where the sun comes from. Therefore, in order to replicate it, you need to be able to recreate the light.
It gives Sal much more potential to control the light, because during the ascent, it's a beautiful, crisp spring morning. That's the whole kind of gist of the story, that it's all so perfect, all so well, but it obviously ends quite badly.
The salt we used for the snow in the studios was brutal. I had a lot of scenes with Josh, so we kind of go through the same experience, and man, I mean, he's a strong man, but he was saying how harsh it was.
You're resorting to imagination more than the reality of what you're going through, and yet you've already created this core group and this core feeling that you can rely on.
The Mountain Climbing Award goes.
It was really a sum of its parts. It's a set that you shoot from 5 or 6 different angles to be 5 or 6 different moments on the mountain.
I like to call it the hair extension way of doing it, because doing it all in Pinewood would be a wig, But like mixing the real stuff with things, of course, we couldn't do it really because it's too high. Really makes for both, not only visually, but also I think for the performances makes it much more real.
Dardi, the visual effects supervisor, is going to blur the edges and just sort of gel it together.
The way we had really wanted to achieve this was by building a 3D model of the entire Everest area. We would match move the cameras, and we would then take those CG cameras and we would put them in the actual location on our 3D model, rotate it to be looking in the correct direction, and then you would have an absolutely correct geographical version of what you would see. What it also gave us was the ability to do these big, fully CG establishing shots that were inspiring.
The way in which you can use visual effects is incredible, and that taking an audience to real places through visual effects rather than to fantastical places is something that interests me a lot.
The thing about Bull is he knows what he wants. Ultimately, when he gets there and he's not happy, he'll stop the shoot until it's done right, and that's great because he's a man from the snow and ice, so he knows snow and ice, which obviously makes my job slightly more difficult because he has a very, very critical eye. But it's good because it's always pushing us as a department to try and get it as realistic and gritty and visceral as the story demands.
It's been remarkable to see what can be done on a big stage. I found that really reassuring and really caused me to have such a high regard for the quality of this team and their craft, that they could take a synthetic mountain in a big stage and make it look and feel like the top of Mount Everest.